So I had a meeting with the agency owner of the insurance agency that I work at right now. And, he was real with me. Um, Basically told me that out of the $100,000 that I'm supposed to sell by August 20th, I'm only at 40,000. Now, just a little bit of background. I'm in a protege program where I'm not actually an agency owner. I'm just an agency producer under his agency right now. And the program that I'm under requires me to sell $100,000 in life insurance in a year's span. And when I do that, they will sponsor me to have my own office, which means that they'll give me an initial bonus. They'll give me like a graduation bonus. They'll on top of whatever I produce, they'll give me a agency bonus of starting at like 300%, which means that if I sell 10,000, they'll give me a bonus of 30,000, and then it slowly trickles down to a steady 60. But there's so many other benefits to having an agency that this is why I know this is what I want to do. But he's concerned, and he's concerned because he's expressing to me that I don't want you to run out of time, And he also is expressing like, yeah, on a selfish note, I want the bonuses and everything too that I get from that, but I just don't want you to run out of time because I feel like you could be a great agency owner. I could feel the pressure in his voice, but as I'm feeling the pressure in his voice, because he's a little bit of background on him, he's just really like close the deal, you know what I mean? 1 + 1 = 2. All you gotta do is go talk to somebody, close the deal, and you'll produce the 60,000. But for me, my life is not just that simple anymore. Like, my life is not as simple as just close the deal, you know what I mean? I feel like that's what I pretty much done all in my 20s, just close the deal, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in my life, I've been aggressively trying to close in the moment, like money, I'm going for it, you know what I mean? Sex, I'm going for it. And opportunity, I'm going for it. But I'm just not there anymore. I'm not seeking financial alignment. I am seeking spiritual alignment at this point. And whatever financial alignment aligns with that spiritual alignment, that's what I'm attracting. I'm not even going to seek that. I'm going to attract that. That's what I believe. I believe that to the degree that I'm in spiritual alignment, is to the degree that things that are supposed to be in line with me will find me. And so in this story, I feel like, the only thing that closing the deal has led me to is broke, burnout, you know what I'm saying? Business failures, all these different things because even though I chased the opportunity, I chased the money, I was not aware in any capacity of alignment. I thought alignment meant does it produce profit or not, right? And so this is just where I feel like I have always had friction conversing with people about the way that my mind works and the transitionary period that is actually going to when things are just like 1 + 1 for people. Because like I said, like in my 20s, I used to attack everything that gave me a high. If I can get some instant gratification from it, I'm going to consider it. You know what I mean? And all I did was just end up attacking myself. and messing myself up because I was willing to jump without measuring the logistics of how high it would take to get to the destination, or the weight of the gravity that I'm stepping into. And all of these things that, first of all, you have to be clear on yourself to know, you have to be clear within who you are as a person to know your limits, and then to be able to do a comparative analysis of your limits to what's required of the space. And I just didn't have that. And so that's where I'm at now, in the tearing down, the collapse of all that was in my 20s, and literally rebuilding myself from scratch in every way. You know what I mean? Now, I was telling him, like, one of the things that I was telling him, I was just catching up with him, because now that I have the job, I haven't been in the office as much. And so by me not being in the office as much, I feel like he might be feeling in a similar way that my grandmother feels sometimes, that by way of them not seeing me like physically doing it, that it is second nature, or second thought, or afterthought, because they don't physically see me going to the office, or physically see me, you know what I mean? But really, like I said, like, it's more so like trying to do 1 + 1, 1 + 1, 1 + 1, 1 + 1. You'll grow the flower into a beautiful rose. But me, I realized that the real process is planting the seed, allowing the seed to spread roots underground, which means that growth can be happening, but you not see it. But because you don't see it yet, you attribute that to lack of growth, or stagnation, or anything else. And it's hard for me to explain to people really how, when they tell me to go, and they expect me to go right, and I go left instead, or they tell me to go up and go 1 + 1, and I go -32 and start to work my way up, which means I might not be at the office, I might not be doing this, but really what I'm trying to do is properly set the foundation so that the plant can really grow in quality soil. Because the lack of awareness of this is what led to everything that I'm got going on in my life right now. Because I told him about the job and stuff. He asked how's the job going and stuff like that. And I told him, like, basically, yeah, I'm working 40 hours, like I'm breaking my back, and he's like, man, how much you making from that? And I'm like, honestly, I'm only making 2,000. I said it proudly, like, I'm making 2,000. And he's like, but you breaking your back though. And I'm like, like, my first nature, my first inclination is to, like, defend, you know what I mean? Like, no, you just don't get it. Like, I'm trying to do this and do that and this and putting the pieces back together, my spirit, and but I'm realizing, like, in the moment of me trying to do this, not only how I'm replaying a broken record that I do with everybody. And that's the reason why I even created this channel, because I am realizing that it's better for me to just, I just need to get it out. And once I get it out, it kind of slows down my nervous system a little bit, a lot of it. But I gotta get this stuff out because I'm just not able to do it efficiently with the world. You know what I mean? So, and I'm realizing at this time, and it's nothing personal to him. Yeah, my bad, man. Y'all know I got this jacked up camera, so it just goes however long it wants to go, and then it overheats and cuts off. But anyway, I was saying that I know it's not anything personal to them. It's like, it's not anything to take personal. I know he's not like, it's not a conflict of interest or something like that between us. It's just more so like, I guess it's just more so a personal thing where it's like, I know that there's a method to my madness, but when I bring it to the world never sees the method or even wants to see the method. They just feel like I'm going backwards, or I'm not doing the right thing, or maybe I'm deviating from the plan. But my mind, the inside of my mind is like a galaxy, and there's just so many things going on and so many different interpretations, like 1 plus 1 could equal 2 to you. But, you know, to get to that same 2, my interpretation might be 6 minus 4. You know, and people are always telling me, like, why take 6 minus 4 when you can do 1 plus 1? It's simple. And my brain is, and my spirit for that matter at this point, is just not in a simple place. But the thing about it is, I fully believe in my spirit that I'm gonna hit the 100K. Like, I'm gonna get that. And to this day, right now, as I'm talking to you, I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. But I know I'm gonna do it though. You know, I know I'm gonna do it. I know it's gonna start off with this job and somehow propel to the insurance. And I believe that the more I fall into alignment, the more the things that are supposed to be attracted to me, you know, are gonna be attracted to me. And if it's meant for me to attract this 60K by August, then so be it. But I'm not gonna go balls to the wall, because that's what he was saying. He was telling me, like, man, you know, if I could, you know, because I think he's like 50, in his 50s or something, or about to be 50, like late 40s. But he was telling me, like, man, if he could do it all over again, he would take my situation and go balls to the wall and really just. And as soon as he said that, it's like my anxiety kicked in, because when he said that phrase, it just reminded me of like the trauma of my 20s, of actually doing that for 10 years straight, and how my spirit is just calling for a council meeting just to veto that. You know what I mean? Every time, aggressively, viciously veto going balls to the wall. Like, I'm going to take my time. I am going to spiritually cleanse. I am going to go down in the trenches and take care of this $15,000 in debt and get a system for it that starts at, to you it might be crazy, but to me, I'm starting from scratch and just securing from what my 1 plus 1 is, which is, hey, let's start over from the basics. You have X amount of income. Get this job. So as long as you show up, you should be able to have this money. So then this is your floor, so that your nervous system doesn't feel like it's always falling in midair with no safety net. Because you know what balls to the wall got me? It got me panicking. It brought me worry. It brought me uncertainty. It brought me not being able to enjoy myself in enjoyable moments, because I always was worried about the next step. I paid my bills this month, but now brings the anxiety of next month. It's like I'm done with that. I'm so done. Like I'm sick of that. Like you ever heard the phrase sick and tired of being sick and tired? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So right now, this is how I'm starting off, and nobody has to understand that. And so that's what I'm getting at as I'm talking to him. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you over explaining? Just tell him, keep faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, just tell him all you gotta do is believe. And just do what you gotta do, what you know you gotta do, because nobody sees this. Like, before I started recording this 10 days ago, nobody saw this. Nobody saw my mindset. Nobody could hear my inner thoughts. You know what I mean? And at this point, it's not for anybody to hear if you're not in alignment to hear that. And these are the things that I have surrendered to. Keyword, surrender. I have surrendered to my spiritual space. You feel what I'm saying? Like being able to manifest peace in my life, and registering when I have chaos in my life, that it is the opposite of the situation that I'm supposed to be in. Because I'm supposed to be, my spirit is calling for peace. It is calling for foundation. It is calling for structure. You know, it is calling for certainty. Enough certainty to be able to handle the inevitable uncertainty that the world is going to bring. I can't be uncertain in the world and uncertain at home. You know, you can't just live in a constant state of uncertainty. So if this is what makes sense to my brain, And, you know, I have a plan. It's not like I don't have a plan. It's not like I am just starting with the job and I don't have insurance, or I don't have any other thing to build that into, to pour that into once I do the healing, the spiritual nervous system healing that needs to take place with this job. It's not about the money. It's about the spiritual healing that my nervous system can do by way of just understanding that today, because with insurance, I don't get paid until next month. But today, I can get that job. I can get that paycheck every 2 weeks and at least see my bills paid. See my, you know, put my bills on auto pay again, so that I don't have to worry. And you know, do my other things that, you know, I'll share with you in future videos. But this is basically what I wanted to share with you guys, because I feel like I'm faced, like the conversation that I had with the agency owner guy is a cookie cutter experience of how all my conversations that involve me trying to share the plan or share the blueprint goes. And so it's like I've decided, like, I have to stop doing that. Like, I have to stop overly trying to get people to understand. Like, you know, that's my kryptonite. I want you to understand, but I have to be okay with the uncertainty of people not understanding, the friction of people not understanding. But the question then becomes, how am I going to be able to do that? And I realized that the way to do that is to become clear within yourself. When you're walking outside and you're clear on who you are, you don't need the validation of somebody else's understanding, because you know what's going on. And you're confident in that within yourself, because it comes from whatever you consider, you know, your source to be, your confident source to be. Me is spiritual alignment. There is a frequency that my spirit hears, that is a certain frequency that is beyond my understanding, but I feel it. And when I feel that frequency, I know that whatever I was doing, I need to drop that, do this, because I heard that frequency, you know. And it's a beautiful frequency, and there are so many beautiful frequencies, but this one is my frequency. So even if you Beyonce, even if you got $1 million in front of me, even if you know, whatever the case may be that is appealing and enticing and attractive to the flesh of my eye, you know, to my flesh and my eyes, if I don't hear that frequency, it could be this frequency and it can be like extremely beautiful, and I can appreciate it objectively for the beauty that it has. But if it's here and it's not here, which is my frequency, I can't do it. And when I hear it, I have to do it. And so right now, what I feel like that frequency is calling me to do is just get a step one. And that step one for me was this job. Because once I get past this job, once this job sets in with the finance, with the consistency that I plan to make it produce, my nervous system will stop panicking. My nervous system is very much still in a panic-based mode. And and he was telling me, the agency owner was telling me, like, you know, you got the resources to be able to produce that 2,000. He's like, you made 1,500 last month. And I'm like, I understand that, but I was panicking while doing it. I can't even concentrate sitting at the table for too long to even make a phone call, because I'm like, man, if I make this phone call, and even if I close a deal, I'm not gonna see that till next month. So really, what I need to do is go and do anything else, and I'm scrambling, and my brain is just in this scrambling, it's just like this all day, every day. Imagine your brain just like this all day, every day for 10 years straight. You get sick of that. You get really, really sick of that. And I'm sick of it. I don't want this. This is the world. Every time I step outside in the world, you know what I'm saying? This is what it is. I need to be able to come home and create a foundation of structure, peace, silence, where I can quiet my mind and meditate and have communion with God and really get the information that He's trying to download into my spirit, which represents the frequency of alignment, you know. And I'm not trying to be all, you know, like, I'm not an overly religious person by any means, but what I do understand is that there is a higher frequency than me. You know, there is a higher power than me. There's a higher energy than me. And I feel like in my 20s, I was trying to be God. You know, I was trying to make the plans. I was trying to force the change, force the outcome in my vision. But now in my 30s, well, now that I'm 30, the only thing I want to do is be a vessel. Be a vessel for the higher power. Let the divine flow through me. And the way that I'm, and on top of that, so far in the journey, doing that has brought me nothing but blessings and alignment. You know, even in my hardships, I still am able to now see the blessings and the alignment that is on the other side of whatever it is that I'm going through. So that's how I know it's worth it or not. Like the Airbnbs was not worth it, not in alignment. Gotta drop it. Because I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm afraid of working hard for something that's not in alignment. You know? But that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So I feel like the 100,000, while it's important to me because I do view the insurance agency as the natural next step of my life, I actually kind of look at it as like the next version of the studio V2 reincarnated. But I feel like I'm in a stage of manifestation right now. I'm in a stage of attraction right now. And if the 100,000 is going to be mine and is meant to be mine in this way, by way of this program, then it will attract to me at the right time. But I know right now it's not the right time for me to be going outside and just really standing on street corners with an insurance sign. It's meant for me to get spiritually aligned right now. And I feel the blessings that are coming my way by way of accepting this and surrendering to this and really surrendering to this in a sense to where it looks like I'm just choosing not to do something on the outside looking in. I'm choosing to deviate, but no, I am surrendering. I am not making a move until I hear that frequency in my spirit. And if I don't hear that frequency, then I'm not busting a move. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys, man. I don't know if anybody could relate to that, but I just want to make sure that when I have these full circle reflective moments that I post these things now to kind of give an insight on kind of how my psychology is changing and how my mindset is changing in real time, and how I'm being forced to really unlearn everything that I knew and who I was in my 20s and really change everything and recreate myself from scratch to really get to the place where I know I'm destined to go. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you want to, you can drop a like, subscribe, you know, however you feel, whatever you feel called to do. But I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.